ഇന്ന് ഈ ആധുനിക ലോകത്ത് സൈബർ സേഫ്റ്റി നമ്മളെ ഓരോരുത്തരും വളരെ നിർബന്ധ ബുദ്ധിയോടുകൂടി മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ട ഒരു സംഭവമാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ് സർവ സൈബർ സെക്യൂരിറ്റി മന്ത് അവയർനെസ് നമ്മൾ ഈ മാസം ആചരിക്കുന്നത്. അതിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടാണ് മലപ്പുറം സെൻട്രൽ സഹോദയ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു ജില്ലയിലെ CBSE സ്കൂൾ വിദ്യാർത്ഥികൾക്കും ടീച്ചേഴ്സിനും രക്ഷിതാക്കൾക്കുമായി ഒരു വെബിനാർ വാക്കിൽ സ്വാഗതം പറയുകയാണ്. ഇതിൻ്റെ അധ്യക്ഷത പദം അലങ്കരിക്കുന്നത് മലപ്പുറം സെൻട്രൽ സഹോദരിയുടെ ആരാധനായ പ്രസിഡന്റ് ശ്രീ ജനാർദ്ദൻ സാറാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ഈ വെബിനാറിലേക്ക് ഔപചാരികമായ ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്യുന്നത് മലപ്പുറം സെൻട്രൽ സഹോദരിയുടെ അഡ്വൈസറും CBSE മലപ്പുറം സിറ്റി കോർഡിനേറ്ററുമായ ഡോക്ടർ K മുഹമ്മദ് സാറാണ്. സാറിനെയും ഈ വെബിനാറിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഇവിടെ വിഷയ RPA നമ്മുടെ വിശിഷ്ടാതിഥിയെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി പരിചയപ്പെടുത്തുന്നത് മലപ്പുറം സെൻട്രൽ ട്രഷറർ കൂടിയായിട്ടുള്ള ശ്രീ മനോജ് BM സാറാണ്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെയും ഈ വെബിനാറിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. അതുപോലെ സഹോദരിയുടെ എക്സിക്യൂട്ടീവ് കമ്മിറ്റി മെമ്പറും ഭാരവാഹികളുമായിട്ടുള്ള ശ്രീ റോബിൻസൺ CJ, അതുപോലെ ഇതിൽ പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന മലപ്പുറം സെൻട്രൽ സഹോദരിയുടെ മറ്റെല്ലാ ഭാരവാഹികളും ജോബിൻ സെബാസ്റ്റ്യൻ അതുപോലുള്ള എല്ലാവരെയും ഈ ഇതിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ഈ സൈബർ സെക്യൂരിറ്റിയെ കുറിച്ച് വിശദമായിട്ട് ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കുകയും നമ്മോട് സംസാരിക്കുകയും ചെയ്യുന്നത് മാമിനെയും ഈ വേദിയിലേക്ക് വെബിനാറിലേക്ക് സഹർഷം സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ഒപ്പം ഇതിൻ്റെ അധ്യക്ഷത പ്രസൻഷ്യൽ സ്പീച്ചിന് വേണ്ടി സഹോദരിയുടെ പ്രസിഡന്റ് ശ്രീ P. ജനാർദ്ദൻ സാറെ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു. ജനാർദ്ദൻ സാർ, പ്ലീസ്.
Thank you, sir. So, most respected guest of the day and honorable coordinator, city coordinator, Dr. K. Mohammed, and all my respected office bearers of Malappuram Central Sahodaya, my dearest children, teachers, parents, and my dear fellow principals. I think it's a great honor for me to just welcome and introduce a great father and a wonderful daughter. So it's really a honor to me to share a few moments with the wonderful RP, Ms. Er.Shireen KM. She is an engineer by profession and a research scientist in artificial intelligence and robotics, IBM, Real Madrid, Spain. So once again, I welcome our RP, Honorable RP, Ms. Er.Shireen KM, to MCS. And I know that people are you're all eagerly waiting for the session from our RP. And I respect all of you, and I honor our guest also. So I forced to restrict my words and withdraw from my point by inviting our most honorable city coordinator to CBSE, Dr. K. Mohammed, to launch our webinar on cyber safety. And wishing you a great evening, and thank you. So I invited Dr. K. Mohammed to inaugurate our webinar on the cyber safety. Doctor, please.
Good evening, respected President of Central Sahodaya, Mr. Janan Sir, Secretary Mr. Anish Kumar, Mr. Manoj Kumar, Treasurer of the organization, and all other dignitaries of the Sahodaya, teachers, parents, and students. On behalf of Central Sahodaya, I personally welcome you besides two of our office bearers. You know, this is our prestige and pride and prestige to introduce to the new knowledge and the new areas of learning to our parent and student community so that it will be explored for them tomorrow, that it can be explored for them, the various aspect of learning. As you know, as you know, Manoj sir, you are audible, it is. So it's that is as far as concerns Central Sahodaya, we have gone through the different programs, training up to date areas of learning and the new instruction from CBSE. Overall, the learning aspects from the different sectors, for teachers, students, and the principals. And this is the consider it is one among them, and at a time it is the most essential for parents, students, and all the learning. As you know, that the learning concept is slowly and slightly changing, and it is shifting to very digital world where we need to have a lot of cautious while processing that that to take up to the next level. So many that is almost all schools and students have shifted to this e-learning system. In addition that there are a lot of online websites that are all on platforms, all it is available for that. So in short, we are technically moving to a new era of the world, and that is any of the person who is not literate in this area will be an illiterate in the coming days. To avoid and to learn, to understand, and to familiar with the new trends in education. That is what is, especially the areas of cyber security and other areas to introduce the parents. I appreciate Central Sahodaya for launching this type of program. I hereby use my time to officially declare the program has been officially inaugurated. Sir, thank you.
Mostly the students who are listening to could use or could imitate her, which would certainly take you to the heights of success. So as I said, she has completed her degree from Calicut University. Further, she proceeded to Ireland to do her masters in Limerick University, one of the best universities in Ireland, which is actually famous for cyber security. And most probably she is one among the very few Asians who joined there in Limerick University. Actually, in her name, a robot, which is also named under her own title, initial, that is Kudukkil, which is actually very useful in the medical field. It's a rare occasion where we get all these opportunities. So the students who are listening and the parents who are listening to this, going to listen to this session, so finally, I would like to introduce our dearest Mrs. Shireen Kudukkil, who is going to be the resource person for today's cyber security session. And I wholeheartedly, on behalf of everyone here, extend our hearty welcome to her, and welcome, dear ma'am, and the time is for you. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Manoj sir, Janardhan sir, everyone for your very kind words about me. And I thank the Malappuram Central Sahodaya for inviting me to do this webinar today. I'm Shireen. I'm a research scientist in artificial intelligence and robotics at IBM. And I also have a master's in cybersecurity from Ireland. And I'm also a certified ethical hacker and a security analyst. So today I'm here to talk to you all about cybersecurity and data protection. And I will share my screen now so that you can, so I hope you can see.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So I'm here today to talk to you all about cybersecurity and data protection. And I hope that through this webinar, I'm able to impart some useful information to all of you. Now, as you all know, we live in a very technological world. Technology has advanced a lot in the past 10 years. And you can take the simple example of a city where we have smart homes, we have smart industries, we have smart mobility. And for example, in a smart home, you would have smart appliances like a smart refrigerator or an air conditioner that you can control through your mobile device. So this indicates a large amount of use of devices and the internet, and this is clearly evident in the statistics of the last 10 years, of the last decade. So according to the statistics in 2020, we have a total population of around 7.8 billion people in the world, and 50% of these people are mobile phone users, and a lot of them are connected to the internet, and almost everyone are social media users. The social media websites like Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp are on the rise now.
You're not audible. Raise your voice, please.
Hi, I'm sorry. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All can.
Yes,
All can hear. All
Yes,
can hear.
ma'am.
That's only
Okay.
his issue.
Okay. So clearly you can.
Shireen, ma'am, Ali here. It's very clear. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you, Ali. So as you can see that there is a lot of internet usage, there are a lot of devices on the internet right now, and this is clearly evident if you look at a single minute on the internet in 2020. This is the data that is being transferred in a single minute on the internet, and you can see that there are 41.7 million WhatsApp messages being shared in a single minute. And we are on Zoom right now, and there could be 2 lakh other people on Zoom right now as well, on similar meetings. So this is a huge amount of data that is going on. Sorry. This is a huge amount of data that's being transferred between all these applications and through the internet. And this is exactly where cybersecurity comes into play. So you might be wondering what cybersecurity is. To simply put it, cybersecurity involves all kinds of techniques and methods that are used to protect all kinds of digital components, different kinds of networks, all kinds of data, and all of your digital devices as well, from unauthorized access by a malicious hacker. Now, when I use the word hacker, you're probably thinking about a guy in a hoodie in a basement writing code on the dark web, but this is not exactly the picture of the hacker of today. There are businesses that are hacking into personal information. There are governments doing the same. And every time somebody tries to gain unauthorized access to your network or your computer system with some kind of malicious or wrong intent, it becomes a cyber threat. And the attack that they make is called a cyber attack. So there are different kinds of cyber attacks. Today we will look at the most important cyber attacks, that is phishing, malware, and distributed denial of services attack. So do you all know, if you follow technological news of 2020, in July on Twitter, a group of hackers hacked into the profiles of very famous people like Barack Obama and Bill Gates. And all of them had posted the same kind of message asking for cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. It's the digital money of today. And a lot of people, these people have millions and millions of followers, and they thought that this was a genuine message, and a lot of people gave in their money. Now, this is a very good example for a phishing attack. Now, a phishing attack mostly takes place through emails or messages. For example, if I'm the attacker, I'm going to masquerade, or I'm going to pose as a trusted entity. So a simple example would be that I want your login information, that I want your Facebook login ID and password. So what I would do is I would create a phishing website that looks just like a website, and I would send you an email with the link to the website, to the phishing website that I have created, and I will make the email look like it is very legitimate. I will make the email look like it's actually sent from Facebook. And if you are unaware, you as a user will think that, okay, there's something wrong with my account because Facebook says that, and let me log into this account using this link. So you will use the link I sent in my email to log into that account, and you will be redirected to my website. The website looks just like a Facebook login website, and you would be deceived. You will try to log in using your login ID and password, and as soon as you enter your ID and password, I receive the information. I receive your ID and password because I have created this scam website. And then I immediately use your original ID and password. I go to the original Facebook login page, and then I use it to enter your account, and now your account is mine. So this is a very clear example of phishing attack, and an example of phishing email would be this one. So when you look at this looks just like a normal email from PayPal. So for those of you who do not know, PayPal is a digital payment application. On a PayPal account, you might have information of your debit cards, your credit cards, and your bank account information as well. So this looks just like a legitimate email from PayPal. And what it says is there has been some unusual activity. If you're a home user, it is still okay. But if you're a professional, you use all kinds of data from your computer. So malware attacks make use of any vulnerabilities in plugins or softwares. So what happens is, how many times have all of us received a message that says there is a new software update available, or there is a new plugin update available, and we always click the remind me later button. So instead of that, what you should do is you should always update your software or any other application as soon as an update is available, because outdated software and plugins are a big threat to cybersecurity. And this is exactly what malware attackers make use of. So for example, consider me, I'm an attacker. So I find this website and I host an exploit kit on this website. So to put it in simpler terms, I will say that I put a virus on this website. So you, as a person who does not know, is browsing the web and you happen to come across this website. And you come across this website on your browser, like Google Chrome or Firefox. So when you open this website, the virus that I have already put scans for outdated plugins like Flash. Flash is a plugin that's used to play videos. So it looks for an outdated plugin.
Bit louder and bit slow in movement. Very fast you are moving. We are unable to catch the points since most of us not in the technical areas.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I will try to go slower. Thank you.
Go slow, and case if you need, you can repeat and go like this.
Okay.
And with higher voice. Okay.
Okay, it's okay.
It's clear. There, some of them are saying it is clear, but still, I feel there are so many students and parents. They're not able to catch the points.
Okay. At the end, if they have, if there's anything that they were not able to listen, I can repeat again. It's not a problem.
Okay, fine. Carry on.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, so this virus that I, as an attacker, would have put on a website will start scanning for outdated plugins and then outdated software. And if I find one, there's probably a vulnerability hidden in the outdated software, and then I gain access to your computer. The next kind of attacks is a denial of services attack, and this is an application of a malware attack as well. So in a denial of services attack, what happens is, for example, consider this is your school server or something, and I'm an attacker, I'm a bot master. So what I do is I send multiple malware attacks to random hosts, to random computers with malware, with the malware that we have seen here. And I infect all these computers. So now these computers become my bot. I do not know a better word for bot. They become my bot, and they will do anything that I command them to do. So I will command them to send all kinds of data traffic to the single server, for example, your school server. So I will ask them to send all kind of data traffic. And when a lot of computers, thousands and hundreds of computers together send traffic to a single server, it becomes jammed. The server is not able to respond to actual legitimate requests. And then it is basically called, in the word itself, the denial of service, that it's unable to provide services to legitimate proper requests. Now, this is a real-time map of all the cyber threats happening around the world. This is detected by Kaspersky. And you can see that around the world in this very moment, there are these many cyber attacks happening. Yeah. And next, we will go on to some of the biggest data breaches in recent years. So the biggest data breach in 2017 and almost the biggest data breach of all time has been by Yahoo. So how many of us have had a Yahoo email address? So around 3 billion users' personal information was breached in 2017. This information included user account information like names, email addresses, telephone numbers, dates of birth. And Yahoo is still trying to recover from this huge loss that they have gained. Now, the second one, and probably one that we would all know, is the Indian Aadhaar system, where multiple data breaches had occurred, and around 1.1 billion people, that is every single user that had registered on the Aadhaar system, all of this data had been made available on the deep web. Now, somebody is trying to on the deep web. So that's personal information of 1.1 billion users around the world, sorry, in India. So now you would probably have a question as to what happens to all of the stolen data. We saw that on Yahoo, the data of 3 billion users were being stolen. So you would have this obvious question that what happens to all this stolen data? So to understand this, first we will look at the anatomy of web. So here what you see is the tip of the iceberg. It is clear web. It's everything that we as users use. It's Google, Instagram, Facebook, all kinds of websites, blogs, and other mediums that we use that are accessible easily to all of us, the public. And then 90% is deep web. Now, deep web is mostly used by attackers or hackers, and there are all kinds of records on deep web, like our personal information. So probably if I go on to deep web right now, I could find my personal information as well, especially if you were a Yahoo user in 2017, your information is definitely going to be on the deep web. So you have all kinds of medical information, government information, all kinds of personal information about people, their phone numbers, all of the stolen data, most of them go to the deep web. And then the rest of the 6% is dark web. Now, dark web, you could call it the underworld of the internet, basically, because all kinds of criminal activities happen in the dark web. And the whistleblowers, WikiLeaks, you might, if you watch the news, you might know what these are. The Cambridge Analytica whistleblower, this is where he launched all the documents and everything. So what happens to our stolen data is most hackers, they do not use our personal information for their own benefit. They sell this data to a third party on the deep web. So this third party could be some company that needs your data, or it could also be a government. Governments also do this. And they could also use your data for blackmailing and extortion. Actually, last year, the richest man in the world, the founder of Amazon, was actually blackmailed using data that saying that they would publish his personal data on the deep web. Now you would also be wondering, who would want my data? Like, who would want my personal data? What would they do with this kind of information? So to better understand this, let's look at Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook and Instagram are two applications most of us use all the time. And it is two social media applications that almost all students are on as well, I think. Do you know how Facebook and Instagram make their money? So there's a very simple answer to this. For example, if I have a friend visiting my home and I asked her to get us some burgers on the way that she comes, and after some time on my Instagram, this message can be sent on my Facebook or Instagram, and after some time on Instagram, I see this advertisement of Burger King. So this is exactly how Facebook and Instagram make their money, through advertisements. So what they do is they sell our personal data to third-party vendors, and then they personalize what kind of advertisements should be shown or not shown to us. Now, this was a big problem in the last 2 years, and Facebook and WhatsApp, etc., have faced a lot of scrutiny for this. And now they have included advertisement settings along with their privacy settings, so that you can change on their applications. You can change the advertisement settings along with privacy settings. So now we have heard everything about the problems of cybersecurity, and we also need to know the solutions. So today I'll only talk about the solutions for everyday users, because there are different solutions for professionals. So the first kind of solutions are passwords. So how many of us have different accounts on different websites like Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, and what we all use the same password? Most of us use the same password. So this is actually a wrong practice. It is highly advised to use different passwords for different accounts on different websites. And you all might already know how to form a secure password, because everybody has an account nowadays. And as you can see in this image here, this password only takes 2 minutes to hack into, because this is a simple password with only lowercase letters. And please do not use a password, because this is the first thing hackers will guess. Please use some random words that is either not your name and not your date of birth, or some other random words. And if you add a digit, it becomes a little more stronger. If you add an uppercase letter like this capital S, it becomes a little more stronger. And if you add all of this together, it becomes even more stronger. So when you choose a password, you choose a random phrase, not just a word. You use a random phrase with a combination of words, and you use an uppercase letter, special characters. You also use numbers, and you also use smaller case letters. Now, two-factor authentication is another very important factor to keep your account secure from attacks like phishing attacks. So to implement two-factor authentication, it is quite easy on Facebook and Instagram. They will directly ask you. So what it does is, every time somebody tries to log in to your Facebook or your Gmail account from a different device than the one that you usually use, it will send you a code or a message to your mobile phone or to your email address saying that, okay, there has been some login from this other device. Do you want to approve this login? So if you are the one using it, obviously you can type this code and you can approve this login. But if you're not the one using this, probably you understand that someone has tried to hack into your account, but they have not been successful because you have enabled two-factor authentication. So the next one is mobile phones. We all carry our mobile phones with us at all times. And I think most of us know how to secure our mobile phones. So the very basic thing is to use a touch ID and a passcode. So I would personally prefer a passcode over a touch ID, because a passcode is something that only you know. And please do not use repetitive numbers like this, or your birthday or your parents' birthday. Please use some other 6-digit random numbers. A touch ID is more susceptible because somebody could take your thumbprint if you're incapacitated or if you're sleeping, for example. So a passcode is more reliable. The next one would be location. And there are a lot of applications on your mobile phone, like, for example, that would want to access your location, like Maps, for example, or online food delivery. They would want to access your location to be able to know where they want your food to be delivered. So these applications, when you download them, they ask for permission to access your location. So you cannot actually prevent them, because then you would not be able to
Excuse me, you're muted.
Yes.
Is you unmuted?
Yeah, thank you for noting that. Yeah, so the simple thing that you can do is you can be aware of what applications are actually having access what applications actually have access to your location. So here you can see on iPhone, on every phone, it's extremely easy. You can see a list of application that has access to your location. So rather than not use something completely, it is always better to be aware of what applications are using your location. The same goes with contacts. So applications like Skype and WhatsApp and other video calling applications like Botem, if you're in UAE, Botem, for example, all of these applications have access to your phone contacts. And this is something you cannot avoid as well. If you want to use Skype, then you obviously need to give access to your contacts. So this is another thing that comes under security or privacy, where you just have to be aware of what applications have access to your personal contacts. Now, access to camera and microphone is extremely important, and I think it is something that a lot of people are not aware of as well. So it takes less than 5 minutes to hack into a camera. Also a microphone, especially on your laptops. On your mobile phones, it is a little more difficult, but on your laptops, it's extremely easy to hack into your webcam or your microphone. So what you do is you only, if you are a student, for example, you always shut down your computer after you use your system, and they have access only when your laptop is working, when it is on. So there is a simple method that you can do. If you are someone who uses your system all the time and it is not an option for you to shut down, you can use the tape method. This is simply using a black scotch tape or a dark colored scotch tape and just sticking it on your camera on the webcam. And this is something even the CEO of Facebook, who's Mark Zuckerberg, he does this as well. And now is cybersecurity for social media. I think this is very important because we have a lot of students here today and a lot of them are active on social media as well. So the first thing of social media privacy is to know if your social media account has been hacked, because it is quite easy to hack into a social media account, like you saw from the phishing attack example that I showed you. So a simple way to check where, in what locations your social media account is being logged in, you can simply check where you're logged in under the recognized devices on Facebook, and the same applies for all applications. On Instagram also you have the same. And if you see some kind of activity that you do not recognize, for example, I'm sitting in Spain right now and somebody has logged into my account from the United States, then I can end the activity right here and stop them from access to my account. So it is a good thing to always be aware of these settings that you have on your different applications, and also always review logging information. Now, cyberbullying is another important aspect in cybersecurity. This is more of a social attack rather than a cyber attack. And every 7 seconds, someone in the world is cyberbullied, and it's extremely common among teenagers as well. So it is always your responsibility as someone who uses a social media website to be a responsible digital citizen. And that would mean as to not to use foul language with other people, not to make unwanted comments on other people. There is a fine line between criticism and going overboard. So it's extremely important. And it's also important to recognize when you're being cyberbullied. For example, if somebody uses your photograph in a public that you have posted on your private account, if someone takes that on Instagram and they put it on a public account on Instagram, then you have every right to take that photograph down, because it is your copyright. It is a photograph of yourself that you have taken on your computer, and you also have settings of this for this on your Instagram as well. You can take it down and Instagram will send you an email saying when they will take it down. So it is important to know if you are being cyberbullied, and it is also something that parents should also be aware of being cyberbullied. If your child is showing symptoms of being cyberbullied, then you should probably, and there also, you can also contact the cyber cell if you face extreme difficulties. Now, the next one would be backing up your data on your cloud and recognizing phishing emails. Now, we talked about this on the phishing attack topic as well. So a simple way to recognize scam emails or phishing emails would be, if, like I mentioned, if it's sent from a different domain, then if this actually a Microsoft team would only send you an email that's from a Microsoft account. And if the domain name is misspelled, or if the email is poorly written, or if there are any links or attachments like this, it's always better to make sure that the email is legitimate before you click on any links. And on some laptops, you can also just hover over the links and you can see the actual URL link, www. And if you find some suspicion, it's always better to not respond to that email. And backing up data is also important because, like we saw on Trojan horse, it is a kind of malware that just wants to erase all of your data from your computer. So always back up your data to an external disk or a cloud. And the last and the most important one is to keep up with updates. Now, how many times have all of us seen something like this, as that a software update is available or an operating system update is available, and we always click the later button. And now this is actually a bad practice. As soon as any update is available for any application softwares or your operating system, you always install immediately, because the time between when a new software update is available, your own software becomes the one with the older version, and it needs to be updated. Otherwise, you're more susceptible to cyber attacks. Now, since the special situation of the coronavirus pandemic, I know that all of you students are all learning from home. So remote learning has grown a lot, and cybersecurity for remote learning is also extremely important. So some incidents that happened at the beginning of this year are Zoom bombing. Have you heard about Zoom bombing? So one day, a school hosted a call on Zoom for all its, I think, third grade students. And what happened was a bunch of people came into the video. They they hacked into the video, and they started posting other videos, and they started sharing screens that probably children should never see, especially. And this had become a common phenomena until Zoom changed their privacy settings in April or March of this year, 2020. Another important incident that happened was a teenage hacker actually hacked into an entire school system with the denial of services attack that we talked about in a previous slide, where they kept sending data traffic to the school server, and ultimately the school server was down and they were not able to continue with their online classes. And there are two other examples of these as well. And now for schools, cybersecurity priorities. If a school is running classes on its own network, then it's extremely important that they hire cybersecurity services, or they hire IT professionals to always monitor their data and network, and also provide user access controls. So for example, you do not want everyone to have the same privilege controls. You want the school administration to have better controls. And protective controls would also include systems like intrusion prevention systems, firewalls, email filtering, and security awareness training and user education is also very important, because as you saw, it is easy to hack into someone's email account through phishing. And network segmentation is actually important, because what happened in a school in Colorado was a student themselves hacked into the school network and disrupted all the online classes because they had an email account with the school, and it became easy. So this is again setting of user access control as well. Now, how to improve security in virtual classrooms? For example, the Zoom meeting that we're having right now. So it's always important for schools to use the advanced model, the premium membership, because there are advanced security options there. And Zoom has also introduced since April 2020 a waiting room option and a host-only content sharing option. And this is something I think everybody knows now about the random meeting ID, and always be careful not to share your personal meeting ID. And it is also important to lock your meeting once everyone's in, especially when a class is going on. It also applies to Google Classroom as well, and not just Zoom. It's also important to disable chat. Now for parents, what can you do to protect your child's privacy? So the first thing would be to not post your child's personal information on public sites or public social media sites to protect your child's privacy. The second one would be to protect your own computer from malware or any kind of attacks, because you always keep your computer up to date, because you would not want that your child is sitting in a class and suddenly something pops up out of the blue. You would not want that. And also, it is always better to use a different device for banking than the one you would use for classes, because obviously, even though however advanced Zoom and Google Classroom, etc., are in cybersecurity or in securing their video calls, it is still susceptible to attacks. But it is the best we have right now, so we have to go with it. And it's also always better to monitor your child's online activity, and this can be easily done because there are parental controls in every system. On your phones, on your laptops, you have parental controls, so you can allow access to only a number of websites that are important to them. So they'll only be able to access these number of websites. And it is also important to talk to your child about about being cyberbullied or cyberbullying someone, and also about netiquette, about how to behave as a responsible digital citizen. Now, the last one would be cybersecurity as a career. And if there are senior students here, we all know that data is now called the new oil. So it's the world's most valuable commodity, and information assurance is one of the highest paid jobs since the last 5 or 6 years. And there are a lot of jobs coming up every single year. And these are some stats, and I will read them to you. Hackers attack every 39 seconds. The cost of a data breach in the healthcare industry was the highest at $6.5 million. $3.9 million is the average cost of a data breach worldwide, and $8.2 million in the United States. And this is exactly why cybersecurity is extremely important, even more so than ever. And by 2021, there will be 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity jobs globally. So if this doesn't inspire you to pursue cybersecurity as a career, then I don't know what will. So I would like to once again thank everyone for listening to this talk. And I know I was a little fast. I'm extremely sorry. This is just the way how I speak. I hope I was able to share some useful information for everyone. And if you have any questions or if you want me to repeat something, thank you.
Thank you. Fine.
One question, can you tell something about ransomware? One question has come.
Yeah, so ransomware is a kind of malware attack, and it is something, a simple example would be that somebody puts a virus on your personal computer and they get access to your personal information, and they use that information to get ransom from you. It's for money basically, or some other advantages. So it is blackmailing.
How to protect the data after you know that your data is breached?
How to protect data after you know that your data is breached? So something you can do is you can disable all your applications, and once your data is breached, you are sure you can contact the cyber cell. That is the extreme measure. And by yourself, what you can do is you can stop them from further breaching your data. So you can, whatever external applications that you use, you can immediately stop using them. You can uninstall them. Please repeat the part about unique way of putting password. So a simple example of a way to put your password would be, I said that you have to put your password in a phrase instead of a word. So a phrase would be, for example, you can combine 3 words. So dog, for example, building, and what do you want? Ice cream. So you can use ice, build, and dog. And you can combine these 3 words, and in every alternate word, it is a little difficult, I understand, but it is the most secure kind of way to put a password. So in every alternate word, you can use an uppercase letter or a number in between this phrase.
Which one is safer, Google or Zoom?
They're both the same. They're both applications that are for public use, but they have their own security functions. So they're a lot safer now than they were in the beginning of 2020. So somebody says, I didn't get malware, especially the Trojan horse. I know the story of the Trojan War, but I did not quite get what its connection is with malware. Could you please explain? So Trojan is a kind of malware. If I go into detail, then that will be a lot about cybersecurity and I will have to explain a lot. But to simply put it, Trojan horse, what it does, it deletes all your data from your system and it makes your system a slave, basically. So the attacker can use your system to do whatever they want with it. They can use it for a denial of services attack, or they can use it to host as a database for their own content. No, online gaming is not exactly safe. You can be cyber bullied through online games. If you would have seen on my slide that 40% of cyberbullying happens through online games. And this is a cyber crime. To cyberbully is a cyber crime. So if you ask it is safe, it is not safe. Is susceptible to a cyber attack. So then if you do not update your software, everybody knows that you have not updated and it is susceptible to a cyber attack and they will try to hack into your computer. So what I do with robotics is I program robotic arms or robotics like I do not know how to explain this in simple words, but for industrial or for medical purposes, you need robotic arms, for example, to do a surgery. So I use artificial intelligence and cybersecurity as well in my robotics research.
Fine.
Accessing through dark web is a criminal activity. Yes, it is a criminal activity. And it's not easy to get access to dark web. You need extremely high technical skills.
Is online shopping is safe?
Yes, online shopping is safe, of course. If you use Amazon, then someday the only problem is I believe that Amazon is a very secure website and they are very good with their cyber security. And if someday Amazon becomes a victim of data breach, then of course all of your bank account information that you have put on Amazon is going to be leaked as well.
Is VPN safe?
Yeah, actually VPN is a lot better. VPN is safe.
Yes.
If you want extreme safety with your passwords, you can use a password manager. It comes with all laptops and it generates unique passwords every time. Will updation help from virus? Yes, updation is a very important thing to help from malware attacks. What do you do at IBM? I'm a research scientist in AI and cybersecurity as well, a part of cybersecurity. There are a lot of questions. I'm sorry if I'm missing any of the questions.
If ma'am anything more to answer, Shireen, you can answer. If not,
You may list out, that is some areas of students, those who are completing +2 can pursue the higher studies in the cybersecurity area and its scope, and the universities overseas in the world, best 2-3 universities in the world, that may be helpful for them. And also,
so if you're looking for higher
in cybersecurity, that also will be helpful for the other students.
Yeah, so if you're looking for higher studies, and there is a lot of talk about scope in Kerala, especially in India, I do not know why, but there is no scope for technology. Technology is here to stay, and fields like cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, robotics is a field that does not advance very quickly, but AI and cybersecurity advance very quickly, and there are always going to be jobs and there are always going to be opportunities. So if you are a student in your 12th grade, then you go for your bachelor's, which would be in a common subject like computer science, electrical engineering, electronics engineering, and then you go for a specialization in your master's like cybersecurity or artificial intelligence or HCI. And there are many opportunities for Indians. Actually, the opportunities are less with scholarships. But if you are a very good student with very good grades, then you can definitely get a scholarship from all countries around the world.
Okay.
Somebody's asking where is the best place for robotics. So if it's to study, I think it's MIT in the US. It is also one of the best universities in the world, so it's extremely difficult to get into. But if you aim high, you can achieve high.
That's great.
Respected President of Malappuram Sahodaya Janardhan sir, office bearers of Sahodaya, our city coordinator Mohammed sir, the lucky father, and the guest of the day, the speaker, the resource person of the day, Er.Shireen from Spain, Madrid. And we are extremely happy to have such a wonderful person to speak on cyber safety, and I'm so thankful to Dr. Mohammed and Dr. Er.Shireen for this wonderful session. Almost 500 plus students from different schools of Malappuram district participated in this event, and by looking into the chat box, we may be knowing that how interestingly the students participated in this webinar. So once again, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Mrs. Er.Shireen and also to Dr. Mohammed for arranging this session. My heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to Malappuram Central Sahodaya for organizing this program for our children. And as you all know, this is the need of the hour. We want to know something more about cyber safety. Already Mohammed sir had promised that if required, we will go for another session also. And last but not the least, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all our parents and students who actively participated in this program and made it a grand success. Thanks to all. Have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
So
Shri.
thanks to everyone. Thanks, Shireen. Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thanks,
everyone. Thank you to all the students. Thank you.
Okay.